It is week 10 of the NHL season, and tempers are starting to flare every night.
And now you got coaches. There you go. You got coaches. I'll just get out of the way here.
Some teams are such a disaster that their fans are booing them out of the building.
You hear the reaction of the fans, the frustration of the fans, and that's it.
Meanwhile, the league's very best superstars are starting to take over. The tensions in the NHL season have gone to another level. So let's cover everything that really happened in week 10 of the NHL. Sunday, same old Rangers. The Rangers, being the NHL's latest frauds, made waves last week after they traded their captain. However, a nice little win over the Penguins meant that maybe they were finally over all the drama. A nice 3-1 lead over Seattle. Things could probably be turning around. But the Rangers are currently professional con artists, and Oliver Bjorkstrand has a legacy game with 4 points to help Seattle score 5 straight to bury them. Over in Vancouver, the Canucks have unlocked fishbowl Quinn Hughes as he takes a high stick from Brandon Hagel and then immediately comes back to give Canucks a 1-0 lead. You must have been watching Tom Wilson clips over the weekend. The captain bleeds for his team, and they repay him by letting Tampa's top dogs walk all over them to win 4-2. The Sens' day started off pissy as they accused the Rangers of so-called soft tampering after there was tons of rumors about Brady Tkachuk going to the New York Rangers. New York remained public enemy number 1 for the Sens, and their day got even worse as they outshot the Islanders 31-13 and lost 4-2. The Jets, after an historic start, are no longer the top team in the NHL. And it makes sense when you see that they're now fumbling games to teams like Columbus. But I'll say what everyone else was saying when they looked unbeatable. The regular season don't matter. So even if they do struggle, as long as they make it into the dance, who really cares? Meanwhile, the Avs are absolutely sick of playing every game with what could be a rent-a-goalie. However, it seems like their new goalie, Scott Wedgwood, can actually make a save. And sure enough, Colorado shuts out the Devils. How shocking. In Philly, the Michkov and Tippett connection is looking nice as they combine for yet another goal. And the way Michkov is playing right now, I doubt that Torts will be health bombing him anytime soon. I can't say the same, though, for Morgan Frost.
Dale stays out there. He'll get it to Frost, who overskates the puck. Stenlund scores.
Yeah, that right there is a perfect way to get scratched the next game as the Utah no-name brand take that goal for insurance to win the game. Absolute rock star shit from Michkov at the end of the game as he gets ejected, and then on the way out, he signs a water bottle for a young fan. Torts didn't even know he did it until a couple of days later.
I have not seen the video of him doing what?
The Michkov and Celebrini race for the Calder is going to be electric. Rookie goalie Dustin Wolf of the Flames was right there at the beginning too, but he's hit a little bit of a snag as of late. He gets caught with his pants down leaving the crease in this one, and he drops his 3rd straight start. Calgary fans, be patient with this one. There will be growing pains, but it could very well be worth it down the line. Monday, toilet teams. Now, before we dive into the games, there was a big trade on Monday between the Sharks and the Avs as they swap goalies. Sharks get Georgiev and the Avs get Mackenzie Blackwood. The Avs completely revamped their 2 goalies mid-season with a new tandem of Scott Wedgwood and Mackenzie Blackwood for a whole lot of wood. Now down to business, we had 3 games, 6 teams, and every single team has a legitimate reason of pissing me off. Let's start with the Rangers, who look completely broken. Going up against the Blackhawks team who just canned their coach, the Rangers still can't get it together. They only put up 1 goal against the Hawks, and their self-implosion continues. Ever since GM Chris Drury sent out a memo to the rest of the league saying that the Rangers are open for business, they are 2-6. The dressing room seems like it's upside down with all the noise. Quick little side note though is that new Hawks coach Anders Sorensen gets his first NHL win and becomes the first Swedish-born head coach in the NHL to get a win. Okay, now let's go on to our other toilet bowl between the Ducks and the Habs. First, the Ducks pissed me off before the season even started by going with their orange jerseys instead of their classic Mighty Duck colors. Clown move. Then there's rumors swirling around that the players just aren't fond of head coach Greg Cronin. The result is them being last in the Pacific and being just brutal to watch. However, we know it's a rebuilding year for them and the Habs, but at least the Habs have Patrick Laine breathing some life into Montreal. The cherry on top is Caulfield and Laine scoring back-to-back goals in the shootout, and the Ducks remain staples of the toilet bowl game with their third straight loss. Then you have the Buffalo Sabres and the Detroit Red Wings, 2/3 of the Bermuda Triangle of mid. Both of these teams take turns making their fan bases and myself sick week in and week out. The Sabres, though, they look like they're on a mission to absolutely suck right now. They blow a 5-3 lead going into the third, and it's only fitting that these two teams both pick up the Gary Bettman pity point. Misery loves company. The Detroit Red Wings may have won this in a shootout, but we all lost tonight, having to watch all 6 of these disasters duke it out. Tuesday, chaos ensues. You know, hockey is a funny sport. It'll drive you insane if you try to make sense of it all the time. And in this Devils and Leafs game, all logic would point towards the Devils blowing the Leafs out of the water as they were out shooting Toronto 3-1 at one point in this game. But Anthony Stolarz is a monster. He stopped 38 shots and kept Toronto within 1 goal all night. Sure enough, a little squeaker from Pontius Pilate Holmberg, and this one is going to OT where the Leaf captain would step up.
Possible breakaway. Hounded by Pesce. Score!
The Freak just roofs it on Markstrom for the win despite being outshot 39-17, and that right there is our underdog play of the night. Matthews has 61 career game-winning goals, and if you want to pick him to come up clutch for the sake of the parade this week, you can do it with Underdog's Pick'em game. You can pick higher or lower on stats like saves, goals, and assists. This week, I'm rolling with Eichel, Kaprizov, and Panarin to all have the higher on their stats. If you want to join, use promo code HockeyPsych in the link below to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash and free picks while ensuring to play responsibly. Now, the next time we see Sidney Crosby and Nathan MacKinnon share the ice together, they're going to be on the same team playing for Canada. Tonight, though, MacKinnon and the Avs show Pittsburgh what the hashtag Save Sidney Crosby movement is really about. The Moose gets loose as Rantanen gets a Hattie and 5 points. The Avs have a lot of wood in net with Scott, and MacKinnon buries one for good measure. The hashtag Save Sid movement gets stronger, and the Avs remain one of its biggest supporters. Checking in on the Calder race, Michkov picks up a couple of assists in a Flyers win, while Celebrini only picks up one in the loss to Carolina. With that, Michkov becomes the first rookie to 25 points this season and is playing at a point-per-game pace. That is simply a concept that the Islanders and their players are unfamiliar with. And I'd usually throw another trip about how the Islanders can't score, but the truth is that not many teams can score against the Kings anyway. They are absolutely suffocating to play against, and if they keep this up, they're not going to be known as the Quiet Killers for much longer as they get their 6th win in a row. Then we had ourselves some good old-fashioned chaos in Winnipeg. We were already way out of hand in this one as the Jets are up 6-1, and then chaos ensues. Trent Frederick with a one punch to drop David Gustafsson. Good night. Kastelik and Stanley followed up by starting to have a dance, and then just seconds later, Zadorov and Laurie go at it. Both coaches start yelling at each other about where to go, and the tensions are off the charts. Winnipeg absolutely stomped the Bruins on fight night with an 8-1 win, and everyone outside of Boston loves it. I do think the next best tilt, though, will be between Preds coach Andrew Brunette and his players. As before the game between the Flames, he said he could probably scratch every single guy on the team. Extremely motivated by his words, Nashville came out and lost 4-3 to the Flames. Jonathan Huberdeau gets the game winner to add to the hilarity. We also got the usual McDavid goal where he looks like a literal train blowing by a bunch of houses. The slick Rick tucks it upstairs, and he's going so fast that Vasilevsky barely moves. The McDrysaddle Happy Meal both get goals for a 2-1 win, and Edmonton gets their 3rd in a row. Now, let's go to the shootout between Seattle and Florida to watch Sasha Barkov work his magic.
The captain swoops in with speed and scores.
Poor Joey Dacard is belly to ice looking for answers, and the Panthers take their 3rd straight win in the shootout. It was looking like a good day to be a Canucks fan as they finally get their starting goalie back in Thatcher Demko. Kevin Lankinen has been a beast holding down the fort, but Demko is critical to the Canucks' success. Unfortunately, Dylan Holloway says screw that, and he spoils the comeback with the OT winner. The grand finale was between Minnesota and Utah. The no-name Brands had the Wild on the ropes, up by 1 with under a minute left, but Minnesota continues to find a way.
Volby fed it across. Net front. Rossi scores!
They tie it in the dying seconds, and then Boldy Hahn wins it in the shootout for the league-leading 12th road win on the season. The Wild are dogs so far this year and remain the biggest surprise by being tops of the NHL to end Tuesday. Wednesday, here we go again. And whoever made the schedule for this week was absolutely out to lunch. The Bettman Special, 1,000,000 games on the night before and only 2 on tonight. The 4 teams in action, well, of course, it's another toilet bowl special. Ducks versus Sens turn into the Drake Batherson show as he gets a hattie and a nifty little assist to boot on a 4-point night. John Gibson remains the most tortured goalie in the league, and the Sens crush the Ducks. As for the Sabres and the Rangers, someone has to win this game. Mika Zibanejad pauses his DJ career to start scoring goals again, and Adam Fox has a big 3-point night to help the Rangers look somewhat less dysfunctional than Buffalo. That loss is 8 in a row for the Sabres, and I think Sabres fans are just dead inside at this point. The post-game comments from Buffalo have fans making memes for how pathetic it sounds, and it seems like an all-time low for the franchise. Maybe they should just start planting palm trees outside of the arena. Thursday, Montreal Massacre. Gary Bettman had 14 games on tonight. There you go. Can't make it up. And none of them were more embarrassing than the massacre in Montreal. The funny part is that this game was 3-2 going into the third. Then the Penguins just went off. They score 6 goals in the third period to just crush the souls of Habs fans everywhere. Sid doesn't need no saving. He puts up 3 assists with a Brian Rust hat trick to boot, and the final score of 9-2 is almost as disrespectful as a clapper on a breakaway.
Another breakaway, lines, fires, and he scores!
I should have known right then and there that when I saw Scott Laughton absolutely nuke this puck on a breakaway, he was due for a massive night. And sure enough, he turns into Wayne Gretzky and scores 4 goals to single-handedly beat Detroit. Alexei Protas did the same for the Caps, scoring both of their goals and the OT winner on the road. And that right there sets a franchise record with their 10th straight road win. With every game, the Caps keep showing everyone that they are the real deal. People, however, still have their doubts about the Devils, but if they play the way they did against LA, they are extremely dangerous. Jack Hughes' 3-point night to keep the change, and they hold a Kings team who came into this game on a 6-game heater to just 13 shots for the entire game. Over in Toronto, the Maple Leaf cursebuster Max Pacioretty scores twice, further proving that 67 is just a number that Leaf fans don't have to twitch at every time they see it. The Leafs win and everyone's happy, but you beat the Ducks, so it almost doesn't count. Now, I know you're probably going to think I'm joking, but for once, we actually got a watchable game between the Chicago Blackhawks and the New York Islanders. First, Connor Bedard would step up.
Off Palmieri's stick, and the Islanders can't get it out either. They score! Connor Bedard on the power play.
That release is just absurdity. His toe caps are facing at the corner of the rink, and he goes across the body, far side, to beat Sorokin clean. Then the Islanders proceed to score 5 straight goals. If you don't watch Islanders hockey, congratulations. You are in a much better mental shape than a lot of us, but you would also know that this game was far from over even though it was 5-1. They are professionals at blowing leads, and they almost let the worst team in the league come all the way back, but they hold on for a 5-4 win. That's lucky for the Islanders players because I saw Lou grab his bat in the press box right after Chicago scored their 4th. My future 2025 Cup champs are still working through some things, but Macklin Celebrini remains cooking. 2 goals, 1 assist, and a dub for San Jose means that they're only 6 points out of a playoff spot. Do you believe in miracles? Well, you should. It's almost Christmas time, so why not? I mean, it'd also be a miracle if McDavid and Draisaitl could go just 1 game without getting a point. I praise the Wild and make a breakdown on how great they've been, and they repay me by getting absolutely spanked by the Oilers and letting the McDraisaitl Happy Meal put up a combined 6 points in a 7-1 win. There you go, quick life lesson. Don't trust Minnesota teams, and that's coming from a Vikings fan. 6 points between 2 players is cute for Nikita Kucherov. The guy got 6 points all by himself against Calgary as they blow them out of the water 8-3 to hang on to that last wildcard spot. The Avs are in the same boat, so they need every point, but they let a team with no name beat them. Aside from their lack of identity, Utah's actually been playing some better hockey lately. Dylan Guenther gets 2 goals, and all of a sudden, they're 6-2-2 in their last 10. And don't forget, they're also missing 2 important pieces to their D-core due to injury. A big dog matchup of the night goes to Vegas and Winnipeg. These two are going to be sizing up each other all year long, but still, it's the inconsistency that is rearing its ugly head for the Jets. They had a 1-0 lead going into the third, but they got outshot 36-20, and Vegas eventually broke through for their 4th win in a row. Also, round of applause for Nashville for finally winning a game. Of course, it comes on a night where their bottom D pairing sound like a whole bunch of fake AI-generated names that you'd see in like NHL 25. But Eustace and Noonan shuts the door for the Preds, making 35 of 36 saves, and the Preds upset the Stars 4-1. No coaching change there just yet, and ever since Boston made their coaching change, they were 7-2. But they got pumped by the Jets, and then again by the hands of the Kraken. A quick tire pump here for Seattle, who have been wildly mid, but Oliver Bjorkstrand has been humming lately, and noted stare-down king Shane Wright is finally starting to look comfortable at the NHL level. Maybe they can be as much of a surprise as Canucks goalie Kevin Lankinen. This guy was an afterthought for a lot of teams in the net, but he's been an absolute monster this year. He gets his 3rd shutout of the season against the defending Cup champs, and Vancouver picks up a massive 2 points to end Gary Bettman's wild Thursday. Friday, Sens special. Of course, just one singular game on Friday between the Senators and Hurricanes. And it's about that time of the year where the Sens start to give their fans back some of the hope that they started the season with. Linus Ullmark is starting to work his magic, and he pitches a shutout against the Hurricanes. And now all of a sudden, he is 5-0-1 in his last 6 starts with a 1.48 goals against average and a .954 save percentage. And despite all the average hockey they've played up until this point, Ottawa is now just 2 points out of a playoff spot and are 1 game above 500. The laws of the Bermuda Triangle of Mid says that they find a way to screw it up, but maybe, just maybe, this year is different. Saturday, hockey night. Hockey's holy day kicked off with the New York Rangers continuing to look like a complete disaster. Just 25 minutes into this game, the Kings were laying the smackdown 5-1 that even the $92 million man Igor Shesterkin cannot hide their problems any longer. Something has gone seriously rotten in the Big Apple, and the fans let them hear it at the end of the game with a tsunami of boos.
You hear the reaction of the fans, the frustration of the fans, and that's it.
The Rangers' fall from potential contenders in the East to complete frauds and out of a playoff spot needs to be studied and probably will be on this channel, so keep an eye out. Now, as if Rangers fans aren't mad enough, they got to watch their ultimate rival in the Devils continue to thrive. The Bedards had a 1-0 lead against them in the third, but the Devils score 4 unanswered, and 3 of them came within 2 minutes to just dismantle the Blackhawks completely. Over in Minnesota, a 40-year-old flower still looks like a spring chicken.
Brodin's pass off target. Farabee sends it across to Konechny, and what a glove save by Fleury.
Marc-Andre Fleury flashes the leather against Konechny and gives it the little look what I found to boot. Konechny's day got even worse when he had a wide open net and Matvei Michkov just completely blocks it from going in. The kid's so good, he's doing everything, including defending for the other team now. Kaprizov scores twice for the Wild, and they bounce back after getting absolutely pumped by the Oilers, who on Saturday continued their obliteration by going up 5-0 against the Vegas Golden Knights. It wasn't even halfway through the game at that point, and it was almost a complete blowout until Stuart Skinner decided to look like your drunk uncle playing road hockey when he comes out to play this puck. Just gives an absolute layup to Vegas for the free goal, but other than that, he was actually pretty good, stopping 38 of 41 shots in the win. Quietly, the Oilers have won 5 in a row after starting the year off quite slow. Now it's time to get the misery out of the way, and we've been doing it all week with this team, as the Sabres are a whole new kind of disaster. Sure, we know the Caps are a wagon, even without Ovi, but this was their 9th loss in a row. This team is no longer mid. They straight up belong in the toilet bowl each and every night until proven otherwise. And speaking of the toilet bowl, today's game was highlighted by the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Anaheim Ducks. And check this out. Mason McTavish drives to the net hard, scores, and Ivan Provorov shoves him into his own goalie after the goal. McTavish goes straight ass to face to the tendy, and the goal counts, but still, somehow, he picks up a goalie interference call after the play is over. If you don't understand the call, good. I don't either. That makes two of us. But that is NHL officiating at its finest. The Ducks fly together for once, and as the Toilet Bowl Kings, they finally win one in OT to snap a 5-game losing streak. Bad teams like them and the Habs haven't had much to cheer for this season, but one bright spot for Montreal has been rookie defenseman Lane Hutson. He's impressed early on, but still looking for his first career goal. He gets his shot against Winnipeg.
Montembeault with another save.
Lane Hutson scores! Lane Hutson gets his first NHL goal!
The Bell Center absolutely erupts and loves it, but they just weren't going to beat Winnipeg, and the secret assassin in Kyle Connor takes care of business, tucks a goal, and leads the Jets to a 4-2 win. Moving on to Toronto versus Detroit, the Leafs do what they do best, and that's lose to bad teams. Perpetually playing down to their opponent's level, they make Jeff Petrie look like Bobby Orr by scoring twice and still show some struggles at scoring goals at even strength. The parade is not exactly canceled with this loss, but I am going to preemptively cancel it for their game against Buffalo on Sunday, because Leaf Nation knows all too well that a team on a 9-game losing streak is bound to absolutely crush the Leafs and send them on a media tailspin for the next week. Meanwhile, the Sens look like they finally got something cooking. Linus Ullmark starts in back-to-back games. He makes some huge stops, and with this all tied at 2s in overtime, the captain steps up to the plate.
2-on-1 developing. Kachuk waits, keeps, shoots, scores!
The Ottawa Senators are slowly but surely shaking off the mid-allegations, and they win their 3rd in a row to take that last wild card spot in the East. How about that? Out west, Dallas got their own OT hero with Matt Duchene deciding to do it all himself. It's a great day to be Matt Duchene. You get the OT winner and have the realization that you're no longer a Nashville Predator, because that circus is ongoing with another loss to Colorado. Nathan MacKinnon stays the NHL scoring leader after a casual 2-goal night, and all that wooden net is starting to pay off for Colorado as Mackenzie Blackwood makes 38 saves in his Avs debut. Now, of course, when we tire-pumped Seattle earlier in the week, they come out and get worked by the Tampa Bay Lightning by a score of 5-1. Side note, Jake Gensel is on an absolute heater right now with 8 goals in 6 games. The blowouts continued right on into the 2011 Stanley Cup rematch. And after all these years, the hate for Brad Marchand is still there for Vancouver, and he still loves every second of it. After getting booed with every touch of the puck, he gets the first goal and taunts the crowd. Vancouver's all-time villain is still public enemy number 1, and the whole night felt like a 2011 repeat. Both captains in Hughes and Marchand mix it up a bit, and Boston just walks all over Vancouver. Surprisingly, the Flames did the same to the Panthers. Even though Calgary has regressed to where everyone expected they would be heading into the season, rookie goalie Dustin Wolf continues to steal the show. He makes 32 saves for the belief in the Wolfpack to get stronger, and the Panthers get shut out in back-to-back games. Despite the Calder race likely being between Celebrini and Michkov, Dustin Wolf could be a sleeper. Finally, Celebrini's Sharks had Utah, and in the final minutes of this game, tied at 3, tensions boiled over with another one of our famous Gen Z line brawls. Everyone grabs a guy, bear hugs him, throws a couple of shoves, and that's it. No punches were thrown, and even though Celebrini got in the mix with Cooley, no one felt quite compelled to drop the gloves. Utah would get a power play in the final minute, and they would also get the last laugh.
Keller shoots, scores.
Captain Keller says, "Let's go home," and he closes it out for Utah's 4th win in 5 games, all of which they've come from behind for the dub. So with the conclusion of a stacked Saturday night, what did you think of Week 10? Who pissed you off? Who surprised you? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you want to see some of our other breakdown videos from this past week, click on any of the links on screen here and subscribe to the channel for more weekly recaps for the season.